All right, y'all. It's about that time. Thursday night. Thursday night special. At that, I got a guy coming in. He's a brother. He's played with one of the greats. I think this is the first time we doing baseball on here. And I also want to say, I think it's fitting to say that this man has played every sports, almost on some Deion Sanders type thing. But at the end of the day, he is very instrumental in my life. Hence the Prince song. You know what I'm saying? That was my guy. I know his family. He knows my family. We definitely been through some things, and I look at him as an older brother. And I mean, like you guys already know. If you follow me, you know what I'm talking about. I got Mr. Mike Piercy coming up on the Hillside Roundup. He gonna do his thing. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna chop it up. We're gonna talk a little baseball, basketball, and whatever else he want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? This is another addition to the Hillside Roundup. And let me send him another joint real quick so he can get up in here. Hold on 1 second. Let me do this real quick. I think I'm gonna have to transport. Damn. Let me get him. Let me get him. Okay. We should be good. We should be good coming in. I see we got some folks in the building tonight. All right, all right. Oh, what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I might have to change. I'm gonna change locations because excuse me. I want this to be the way it's supposed to be. Damn. Okay, all right. So I'm settled in. I'm ready to go. I'm just waiting for my man to come on in. Like I said, we talking baseball. We talking basketball. My guy's coming in. He doing his thing. And it's gonna be a great interview this evening. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Let me see. Let me see where he at. See what we gonna do. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Okay. He should be coming in any moment. But also, I just want everybody to know, we switching up here at the Hillside Roundup. We definitely Hold on. All right, here we go. We back. All right. He should be coming in any minute now. You know what I'm saying? Sorry for the delay and any type of inconvenience. But y'all know I get these dope ass interviews. You know what I'm saying? I'm showing love to the town. Yeah. Yeah. 78, 79, 89. What up? Big Bullock's in here. Mr. Al Hardy's in here. Who else is in here? We got Miss Melissa in here. Okay, what up? Yeah, I'm just waiting for my guest to appear. He should be coming soon. And you guys got to remember, we also we old heads now. You know what I'm saying? Some of us is messing with the technology, some of us aren't. So, just chill, hold up a second, because we got some things coming up on the Hillside Roundup as well. I got Mr. Kareem Collins. Kareem Collins is coming in. I'll have him Tuesday. I got Mr. Brian Gamble coming in. I got Mr. Platt coming in. Oh, see, here we go. All right, there we go. Mike, I'm about to send it right to you right now. Again, one more time. Hold on, let me see. Okay, yeah. Yep. Okay, yeah. He should be in here real soon. You know what I'm saying? My guy, Mike Piercy, man, he's been like a brother to me. He's been, yeah, here we go. Okay. Should be coming in any minute now. Dang, there we go.
What's going on? We finally got this. We got this hooked up.
Yo, how you, man?
I'm all right, man. Finishing up here at work, so you can see everything in the background. I'm in the office, waiting to clean up the night, kicking it with you.
Yeah. Oh, that's what's up, man. Hey, Mike, I just want to say first and foremost, it's an honor and a blessing for you to come up on the Hillside Roundup. You were one of the top guys that I was trying to go after when I first started this. When the whole pandemic thing just hit in and everything like that.
Yeah, I got all my sanitizers and everything here from the
yeah, I see you. So first and foremost, I just want to go off with the yo, how are you, man? How you feeling?
I'm good. You talk about you honored to talk to me. I'm honored to be on here, man. I appreciate you inviting me on. I'm not one of the legends that you talking about.
Oh, yes, you
are.
Yes, you are.
I'm happy to be on to talk and kick it, because you always been my brother.
Yeah.
You and your family always treated me 100. So I'm excited to be on here and see whoever else we get pop on here to talk some stuff.
Oh man, I mean, like right now we just starting it off right now, man. But at the end of the day, I think we're gonna go a little bit longer than what we anticipated. But good. It's gonna be good.
It's all good. I'm with it.
Yeah. First, Mike, man. I mean, like we go back, man. I remember you, like, and for everybody that don't know, I just want to start off with this, and I got to get off my chest because I was playing Prince. This is the man that put, yeah. Yeah, you see, look, Mom's talking about, hey, what up, man?
Tell her I love her. I ain't seen her so long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well.
Tell her I love her. I miss her. I ain't seen her in a long time, but she's still on my heart.
Yeah, Mike, man. Let's start here. I gotta go here first.
All right, let's go.
Mike, you was the first guy. Like, I knew about Prince and everything like that. You was the dude that put me on Prince, period. Like that really put me on to his lyrics, his songwriting, everything like that. You was that guy coming up, you know what I'm saying? Kurt, like, yo, why you ain't playing this? Yo, nah. You ain't hear Prince? You don't know about this dude? You know?
I was putting them up on Prince because they thought it was crazy whack job, because they used to come down and had the little basement apartment in my mother's house with the Prince posters up. They'd be like, hey, you love Prince? I'm like, you know what really put me on Prince was his work ethic. Just like when you used to read like his stories and the things, and that was one of the things I really took from him, is just like you found like that dude wanted to do nothing but like be in a hole, making music, living his life, doing what he really loved to do. So that's it. Plus the music was fire, but we get to that. You get, if you really listen to it, right? You start to really listen to it. You gotta listen to that stuff with your soul. You can't listen to that and just be like, hey, we looking for hit music. But that dude, so that was really what put me on to him, and I got on him at a young age, so it was like cool to. But they used to be coming, and we used to be playing basketball in the backyard. They used to be down. We had the video games going, and they're like, "Oh, this dude got the Prince posters everywhere. Prince, Barry Bonds, all the other posters up there."
Yeah, man. I mean, like, I had to get that off my chest. Like I said, he was a brother to me. You know, I love my music and everything like that, man. But at the end of the day, you put me on the Prince at a higher level. But you know, we ain't gonna talk about rest in peace to him. But we
go anywhere you want to go. I'm cool with it.
All right. So now let's go sports. Let's go sports because that's what we here for. And I don't know if you. I mean, well, we can get to that at the end, but you can do it now if you want to too. Whatever you want to do, Mike.
All right. So where you want to go when we talk?
All right. Let's go. You know what? Let's go with basketball.
Okay. So basketball, you know, for me, growing up, that was so. It's like if you asked me what my favorite sport was, it was always baseball, right? So I grew up in baseball. My pops was a semi-pro ball player, and we grew up in Velsburg Park, basically. So that was it. You drove up with the old school station wagon, 20 cousins jump out, y'all trying to get the hot dogs, keep score, somebody keeping the book or whatever it is. So I used to tell people, like, now, I'm like, Shea Stadium, that was like my home. My father's a truck driver. He used to get them tickets where you sat all the way up so high in the upper decks where you could ask God to hold your drink.
Yeah, nosebleed.
The nosebleed seats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was really what it was. But coming up with us, right, you know, everybody, we thought we was basketball players. Your brother, he was real deal. But, you know, for the rest of us, we thought we was basketball players. And, you know, for me, you know, coming up with them, that was the fun thing. We get in the backyard and we really, you know, we hoop out. You know, it'd be him, Cheyenne, Gray, you know, Eric would come through, Graves, and, you know, Phil, you know, Scott, of course, Donald Sellers, all of them. We'd be in the backyard just rocking, and, you know, I see Mac popped on here a little bit, talking crazy a little bit earlier. And they all be there, but I had the backyard hoop, right? And we used to rock and roll back there. Right. That was really what it was. It was about being with the fellas, and then we was at WOK. You know, WOK coming up, we 7th and 8th grade games. They used to be packed like it was a high school game for us in there. But it was really just about us being together, having a good time or whatever it is. I thought, you know, like I said, really my upbringing. When I came up, you know, I played Little League. So a lot of people thought like the baseball came out of nowhere. So I see people and they be like, well, I don't remember you playing a lot of baseball. But I played in 3 different Little Leagues coming up. I was playing in Hillside Little League where you had the parade and everything. And then Irvington Little League and South Ward Little League was just around the corner on Conklin. So we played in the South Ward Little League because, you know, Scott's father was, you know, a big time coach at Weequay High School. So we played in the 3 different leagues and just came up really kind of growing with that and things like that. When I got towards like Hillside High School, and a lot of people don't really remember because they think that I went to 3 different high schools, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so sports for me, I went 3 different high schools, like 3 different lives. At Seton Hall Prep, I played football. You know, I played football the first year. I came to Irvington. And in Irvington, I really didn't play much because I was like on non-credit from not like showing up for school for half the time. So, but growing up at the time in Irvington, like when I came to Irvington, a lot of the friends that I had, they was like looking at people like, yeah, you know, you're going to have to switch that position because this dude coming, you know, I used to have I played a lot in Little League there. So they're like, oh, yeah. So my boy Corey Hardy and Howard Johnson from Irvington and them, they always knew like, oh, yeah, no, he can play. So when I got to Hillside, it was more like, you know, I went to Hillside to be with your brothers and all the friends that I had growing up. So there it was like on the first touchdown, it was like I met Griff, and then Griff is like, oh, you can play basketball and do stuff like that. So it was essentially that's how I got into that. But really, you know, it was always baseball. But a lot of people that didn't grow up with me, they didn't know that.
Yeah, honestly, Mike, I'm not even gonna lie to you because I know you the way I know you, and that's my brother. I
Uh-huh.
as playing basketball
Mm-hmm.
or something else. I never knew baseball was in the equation for you. That's
No.
why I'm like so. I guess my question to you is, well, you kind of answered it, but who inspired you to play baseball though?
You know what? It's like you said. It go back to my pops. You know, and according to my pops, that was how we was really. That's how we started off as kids. You know, Velsburg Park. It was either on a Saturday, Sunday. You either ended up with my mom's, or you ended up in like Menlo Park Mall or somewhere,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you basically you know that we always at Livingston Mall, some type of mall with your
yeah.
moms, or you ended up with my pops at Velsburg Park. You know, and my uncles rocking like that. So you know, it was a lot of things. I think like when you look at life, there's usually shadows and stuff, you know. So I had a lot of I played a few games at Hillside, you know, towards that's what we talked about the other like around senior year and played a few games, but didn't really finish the season. But there was a couple games and there was at the time there was a dude named Jeffrey Hammonds.
Mm.
And Jeffrey Hammonds played in the major leagues. And he, you know, I think he kind of knew Crisafi, but we was playing playing field at the time. And he
Okay.
came down and I remember I was playing first base and I was playing and kind of like the game was over. And it was one of those chance occurrences when somebody walk up to you and they say something to you. And he just walked up to me out of nowhere. And I didn't know him. I didn't play the best game in the world. But one of the things he said, he's like, he's like, you could play, man. He was like, yeah, you know, I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to get up there with you. He's like, yeah, you'll be there. But that just kind of sparked with me a little bit. So when I graduated from Hillside, and then I filled out like one college application, you know, because they required us to fill out the college application. I filled
Right.
out a Bloomfield College application,
Mm.
and I didn't even know I got accepted. Like I waited, it was like orientation. My mom's came down, started yelling at me, like, "What? Why you not dressing ready?" I'm like, "Dressing ready to go." She's like, "You never opened this letter?" So I never even opened the acceptance letter. So I had to like hustle, and I went up there. And when I got there, they really didn't have like there was no football team or nothing like that. And then the basketball team, I was a decent basketball player, but I wasn't like, you know, in college, you know, I wasn't going to be like a two guard in college and play like, so I just, you know, kind of fell back into baseball a little bit. And so I said, all right, I'm gonna walk on and give it a shot. And I walked on, I went to the tryout the first day. I think I hit a ball to second base. I took off down the first baseline. The dude said, you on the team, basically, you know, the college coach. So that was it. And then what happened at Bloomfield is Bloomfield used to have this rule, and this is probably jumping out forward, but Bloomfield used to have, the reason why he said that is because basically Bloomfield had this NAIA rule where you could run for the catcher. So basically, because I had speed, it was essentially me just running for the catcher that first year. So, you know, that was how I got my start. And then I kind of fell back and started working hard at it and just happy to like have that, you know, that engine to keep going. So the baseball kind of sparked back up. So it's like if you get like Donald and a lot of them we played that summer. And they'll remember that summer I was like trying to get better because I was trying to play catch up. I was like playing for 3-4 different summer league teams. They was like driving me. I'd be changing uniforms in the car on like a Saturday, Sunday and whatnot. Because in college it was way different than when I grew up because I had like lost like 3-4 years of high school.
Right.
Of just playing, right? So when it's like just random like things just come to me, but thinking about that time, right? People used to hit you watch fly balls like in the major leagues and people watch people catch them. But in college, it's way different than high school because they hit these fly balls and they like look like they go up about 5 million miles in the air. I couldn't catch none of them. So I was dropping all of these balls. So like I said, if you get Donald Scott and all them, I was playing every summer league I could. And then that next year, I transferred to Keene, and then kind of everything started to take off a little bit because it was kind of getting back into the groove. But baseball was really always my thing. So you got some people jumping on there now.
Yeah. Hey, come on, you better have this thing lit because I really don't. I really didn't want to get into it like that, but we got to do it because you just explained the story, and at the same time, yo, you played with Ricky Henderson. If you don't know anything about anything baseball, you played with Ricky Henderson. How was that though? How did that go?
You know, you could tell a lot of stories about Ricky, and you could tell a lot of stories about a lot of things. If I really put that in perspective, Like, this is cool for us to be on because it's like, I feel like it's not like something where I'm just trying to tell somebody about me. Like, we know each other. You know,
Exactly.
people on here, we know each other. So you kind of know, you might have a surface level, but you never really know from the background, like people doing stuff. So it's a lot of stories about Ricky. But yeah, and I could go through a whole bunch of crazy ones. That's why I seen King just jump on here and he laughing because
That's
there's a lot of funny stories about Rick. It's scary. It's a scary thing. You brought up Prince, right? So it's a very scary thing about meeting your childhood idol. I used to pretend I was Ricky in my front yard playing Wolf of Wall.
exactly. Yeah.
So it's a different type of context because you just don't want to ever be disappointed. Okay. And the thing is, Rick, you know, he was, if I could give anybody a compliment, he was 20 times better than what I could have ever imagined it to be, to the point where I don't even, when I watch like stuff on television, and I still talk to him this day, he'll call me with the craziest, most random stuff about anything. He'd be like, man, yo, man, those those bands you be using to workout videos. You know what they do? What you know? Give me a couple pairs of those or whatever it is, and he'll hit me with something crazy. But it don't really register. It's like kind of like talking to your pops or talking to your older brother or something like that now. But if you could ask me what it was like, it was a crazy experience because coming up, I learned so much from him, but also I learned so much just about him. He was the hardest working. People a lot of times look in the media and they'll hear a lot of things about him, or you listen to these stories. He was the hardest working dude I ever played with. You know what I mean? What he do is he show up early in the morning and work, and then he'd go back and go to sleep and come back later on. People think he never wasn't there. You know what I mean? And just wanting to talk and wanted to help you. If you wanted to know something, he was always there talking. So you'll see pictures like that people show, like on Facebook and stuff like that. And you'll see a lot of times us talking, you know, or him just talking to me, because we was base stealers, you know. So a funny story about him is we played in Newark together, right? Yeah. And so there's only one other person that's ever been in the lead-off lineup with him. I mean, in the lineup with him, and he not let off. I let off because he wanted to. He's like, let P lead off, and I'm gonna hit third. So because he wanted to hit third so bad, so he let him lead off. So what happened is, one of the best stories, anybody who was there, and like I said, Donald and Scott and all of them kind of traveled with me and did a lot of stuff, so they know this story. But I had a record that I had set for stolen bases in the game at Newark when we played there. Yeah. So what happened is, me and him, we got into this base stealing kind of steal off one game, right? So he stole one and I steal one. And then he steal two. So he just tied my record, right? So I steal two, and the next thing you know, we had the record was tied, right? So I think at one point I got like a double, or somehow it ended up on second base. So I know that if we tied the record, everybody gonna say it's Ricky record. Yeah. And they're not gonna say it's my record. It's like it's tied, it's Ricky record. So I decided to take off and try to steal on the next pitch, and got thrown out by like 700 feet. And he was in the dugout just laughing so hard, because he was like, when I came and I sat down, and people would see the picture of it, they'll know what we're talking about. But he's like, I know why you stole that. You try to steal that base because you know you ain't want me to have your record. That's what you try to do. And we just cracked up loud. I'm like, yeah. He's like, you should have. He's like, I would have told you what pitch to steal on. But he was just so cerebral about everything, you know, and just such a good cat. And then some other funny stories about Ricky is he liked to go places. So he liked to come places like in the hood. So, and that's
really?
Oh yeah. When we was in Newark,
so he's a real
one. Have a problem with me telling this story. I remember it was one Sunday, and I got dressed out. It was a Sunday game, so Sunday games usually 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, yeah. You know, you be done by like 4. So at this one point, and it's one of my aunt's greatest memories, because she passed away, and we had a family cookout. Mm. And I got dressed or whatever in our lockers. We had lockers next to each other, you know, great relationship. And I got dressed. I was getting dressed and I had my clothes on, getting ready to walk out. He's like, where you going? Where you going? And I'm like, get ready. My aunt got a cookout. And he's like, and he started cursing me out. He's like, you wasn't going to invite me to the cookout? I'm like, man, you ain't trying to go to the cookout. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to go to the cookout. And he had the people he was with. He's like, yeah, we're going to go to cookout. So he drove all the way with me. We drove all the way to Mattawan, and he spent the whole day with my family kicking it at the cookout. And we will always do stuff like that. Like if we was going to what's the spot that used to be in Bloomfield, the club? And it's a club there. I forgot the name of the club that used to be there on Bloomfield Avenue. But
not Divas.
Yeah, Divas. We went there together. We used to go everywhere together, a whole bunch of places. So it was just cool. He just enjoyed being in the moment. Yo, one of the best teammates ever, and just a great dude altogether.
Yo, Mike, man, you really had an OG. Like, that was an OG that, you know what I'm saying, you were just rolling with, man. And I mean, that was dope. That was dope.
It was dope, but the thing is that people look at it in the context, it's like, for him, it was good for him too, because, you know, I think at that level, it's not a lot of, you know, everybody wants something.
Yeah.
You know, and you have somebody that you with, and I think that's the feeling. It's like, when I first got signed to the team, actually, so that team, and it's another real funny story, they signed me to that team because I was supposed to be his defensive replacement, because it was a rule. They used to say that he's not good on defense. So I was, you know, good on defense. So the year that I got signed, because I was a free agent, and that they signed me to go in and late in the innings to play for Ricky. Okay. So they told me at the beginning, they said, nobody talks to Ricky, don't say nothing to him. You know what I mean? He don't like to talk to people. He don't like to. So the first day we get there, I'm unpacking all my stuff, right? I got my car. I'm driving from Hillside. I'm, you know, got my stuff. I get in the elevator, right? So the elevator halfway closed. Hand go on the elevator, stops the door. Ricky walk in. And I'm like, oh, man, now I'm going to get released on the first day. Ricky in the elevator, I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to get in trouble. So I'm like, looking up at the, you know, you in the elevator, you looking up, and I'm just like, he's like, hey, introduce himself. He's like, Ricky Henderson. And I'm like, Mike, nice to meet you. And he's like, I'm just looking up. He like, you don't talk much, do you? I'm like, yeah, I usually talk a lot, but I'm going to be honest with you. They told me not to say nothing to you. They told me not to say nothing to you. I'm not trying to lose this job. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. And he said, no, we're going to be good. We're going to be good. And then when we got into the thing, we started talking. And then when we got in there, there was a dude that had a locker right in between us, right? And I had one locker that was right on the outside of that.
Okay.
So what happened is he came in and he told the dude, so he had one locker, and his locker was on the corner. And he came in and he said, I get 2 lockers. So I start moving my stuff, because I'm like, he going to get 2 lockers. They going to move this down. I'm going to have to get out of here. He's like, no. You stay where you at. And he was like, this dude got to move. We're going to put our clothes in there. So I started cracking up. I was like, oh, this is going to be a good year. And it was. And it's a great friendship that I'm forever. And it was a blessing, man. It really was. And it's, you know, it was good. I think in a lot of ways, it was good for him to have somebody for him, because basically he coached me up, right? And I give all the interviews, because he got tired of talking to people. So he's like, every time people come and want to talk to me, I'm send them to talk to you. So, you know, got a lot of press, and it helped out. But it was a learning experience, just soaking up knowledge from him and being around him all the day. But we had fun. We had a good time too.
Yeah, Mike, I'm gonna tell you, man, because, like, to be totally honest with you, we had gotten, I don't know how it happened or what happened per se right now, word for word. But once we was like, yeah, the North Bears coming into town, this, that, third. I'm a sports guy. I'm gonna watch. When I saw Mike Piercy on that card, I'm like, all right, I don't think you remember this day.
Thank you, brother.
Because you guys played, and it was you, and I think it was Ricky's first game, and we had good seats up in the spot. I'm like, yo, Mike, you doing your thing. I'm up there. I'm like, I'm going crazy because I know it's you, and I'm like,
thank you.
Yo, Mike doing his thing. You shook my hand and everything that day. And then I was like, yo, could you get Ricky over here too? I was like, you remember that day, yo? I swear to God, I think my son he had been about 4 or 5 years old. Because I was trying to introduce him to different things besides basketball or football. And I wanted him to see all the sports. So, and once I saw that, I was like, I'm telling my son mother at the time, like, yo, I know him.
She's like, get out.
Yeah. I'm like, nah. But then when you came over, you shook my hand, she's like, oh. You know, it was like that. And my son was so young. Yo, it was just like, I was like, yo, see, I know people.
Yeah, it was a good experience, man. And you know what? It's one that I'd never get back. You learn a lot from just being there. If I said, hey, could I have played 20 years in the major leagues and wanted to do that? Yeah, it's great. But you know, if I wouldn't have traveled the road that I traveled, then I'd rather go back and travel the road with the people that I traveled with. And y'all guys, I always appreciate that. A lot of people showed me love. That was one great thing. I always look at you get people and they say, oh, this person's coming home. Coming home is tough, man. And I know on that level, and it wasn't like the levels of some of these other people. Coming home is tough. So, but no, always be. It was a heartbreaker when they tore that stadium down and that team's not there no more. But that was probably one of the greatest times of my, baseball career. Being at home, just feeling that love from people and a lot of people coming out. You know what I mean? I remember having my little league coaches. When you say mentors, my little league coach is still like my pops passed in last November, so I don't have him no more. But it's a lot of times like, but I feel like I miss him or something like that. And the thing is, my little league coach called out of nowhere, right? And then I'm like, but he used to show up to the games, bring all the embarrassing pictures from when I was at Irvington Little League and stuff like that, or he'd keep the cards or do. So it was always like a great, experience to be there, be able to have my family see me play. My mom's and stuff like that, she never saw, a game until I was out there playing. She never, growing up, never no Little League games or nothing like that. Those games she was able to come to the stadium and really just be, in there and feel the energy and feel the love. So it was good. It was a good place to be. And especially with Ricky. Rick was great.
Yeah, man. I mean, and to be totally honest with you, Mike, I want to go back a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay.
Now, because I know you from playing ball. I know you from playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
With Kurt, you guys hanging out and everything like that. So where did the baseball come from, though?
That, like I said, that was when I was young. And then, baseball, I really kind of put it down for a while.
Yeah.
And then going back to Bloomfield, I picked it back up. And I could say, where did it come from? It really, they say drugs start calling you, So the funny thing about it is when I went to Bloomfield, really, it's really like I say shadows of a moment, right? Mm-hmm. I was in a Wawa in South Jersey, and there was a Baseball America there. And I remember growing up, when we grow up, I run a facility now, and you see kids with all these coaches and everything else now. But back in the day, it was really like you just got your boys and you played whatever you was playing, right? But for me, I never knew that people really got like drafted out of high school and stuff like that. Right. So I remember it was like, I think it was a cat named Tim Johnson, and then Al Hawkins, who was a great friend of mine now. And I remember Al Hawkins from Elizabeth, he got drafted. And I was just reading in the Baseball America. And I started reconnecting with just where I was back then. And then I just said, all right, you know what? When I got to Bloomfield, like I said, I didn't really know, I didn't know I got accepted. Now I'm on this journey of doing the college thing. And I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. And then so at Bloomfield, that first year, I started off as basically the pinch runner for the catcher. So it meant whenever the catcher got on base, I went in to run for him.
Right.
Okay. So, and that was kind of that coach's thing. So there was an assistant coach that was there. And I think the head coach, his wife was either having a baby or doing something else. And so what happened is the assistant coach had to coach for him in the playoffs. We had made the playoffs for the first time in the history, right? The assistant coach got a coach for him, right? Yeah. So he came in, first game in the playoffs. He looked at me. He said, "You ready? You playing center field today?" I said, "I'm playing center field for real?" He's like, "Yeah, you gonna play today." He's like, "So you're gonna play and you're gonna lead off." And I must have hit I think I had two triples, a double, and then there was this one team that we had never beat, and we was playing that first round of playoffs, Dominican College, and I remember they used to be doing, they used to be destroying us, be singing songs, singing songs in the dugout, doing everything, living their life, but we just went on the tear, beat them, or whatever. And I remember the athletic director was there, Sheila Wooten, and she was like, she looked at him. She's like, "Why has he been playing?" She's like, "Why?" He's like, "Why has he not been playing?" I'm like, and then the assistant coach just like, so we went off playoffs or whatever it is, and that kind of sparked me a little bit more. And like I said, at that time, you know, I was kind of playing catch up. So I caught on with, and this is, I always got some crazy stories, but I caught on with a couple summer league teams. So one was this team called the Woodbridge Cardinals.
Okay.
And I was playing with the Woodbridge Cardinals. I was playing with there was a dude there was Dodgers, and we played for them, and it was in Newark. So like I said, I was playing for like 20 summer leagues. And then so I remember we was playing in the one summer league, and I showed up early to warm up. And there was two guys there. And I was just showing up to warm up or whatever. We started talking. And then I was telling them, because at first I took a visit to Howard. I was looking to transfer from Bloomfield because I just wanted to, you know, I'm like, all right, well, I'm not really playing here. Don't know what the situation is going to be. So, you know, I feel like I want to go somewhere and kind of try my hand at this. So I was going to transfer to Howard, and I went to Howard and took a visit at Howard. And they wanted me to come there. And then these two dudes, they was assistant coaches at Keene, you know, and they started talking to me. They're like, man, we thought you was out of school. We didn't know you was in college. He's like, no, you got to come to Keene. You got to come to Keene. So they started talking to me. I took a visit to Keene, and then Keene was, you know, was right down the street from the house.
Right.
So we were like, all right, you know, I can eat my mother food, sleep in the basement, go to school, go to class, do whatever. So I'm like, all right, well, I went on the visit to Keene, and those two dudes, what happened is they was assistant Neil Iavero and George Perez, right? So I went there the first fall that I enrolled in at Keene. The head coach got fired, and the dude that I was talking to, Neil, took over. So at that point, we was full go. It was like, all right, well, this is what it is. We went to the College World Series, the regionals that year. And then in '99, I got drafted by the Pirates the next year, which if Donald was on here, tell you it's a story in itself. So it was like 3 years, and then I got drafted my junior year and went off to play ball. So that was kind of where the baseball started. At Hillside, I played a few games, and one of those people, like for Krasafi and then Coach Hosky. Coach Hosky used to always, you know, get on me because he's like, you got talent. He's like, you got to get it together. So he was always telling me, you got to get it together. You got to get it together. You got to get it together. So later on, you kind of, you know, you're trying to find yourself. You know, high school was a blur of trying to find yourself, but you always had like good people that was always taking care of you, and was always grateful for the OGs that I did have. Always, you know what I mean? You know, I think back to the OGs, like we talked about Darryl Pennell, we talked about Dimp, and then you had Mazik when I used to be, you know, trying to sneak in the clubs in East Orange and do everything else. And you used to be out there, good folks. And then everybody from Conklin, you name names, you could never get through all the names. But, you know, same thing. It's like when we got through, and then all of basically our crew, right? So, so yeah, just kind of followed me there. When I went off to college, it was kind of like, you know, tunnel vision. Once I got that, it kind of put the battery in my back a little bit. And then, so if I go back to that junior year and it's the people that was there, it's always like crazy story shadows, right? So the scout that drafted me wasn't even there to see me. He was there to see another dude that we had on our team. And he walked in, and I think I hit 2 balls back to the pitcher that day, and I beat them both out because the dude took too long. And then I remember there was a bunch of, like, you know, friends and family there, but they said, yeah, it was a scout here, man. He was checking you out, you know what I mean, or whatever it is. I had never seen a black scout, you know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, I'm dead serious. I had never seen one. So I'm like, oh man, it's a scout. And then he came to practice the next day, you know, and it was like, oh, well, he want to see you do a couple things. So what happened is he timed me running second base, third, you know, doing a whole bunch of things like that. And he told me that day, he's like, you can get drafted. Quit your job. I ain't believe him. So I kept, at the time I was working in this guard shack. Your brother remember, I always had a job. So I was working in the guard shack with General Motors at the time. So he was like, quit your job. You're going to get drafted. I ain't quit my job. So what happened is I almost didn't get drafted because he thought I was out at night doing crazy stuff, but I was working. He's like, I called your house 3 nights in a row. He's like, tell me you ain't out doing what I think you're doing. I'm like, nah, man, I work at General Motors in Linden in the guard shack. So he showed up to check it out. And then, the draft came. I got drafted, you know, in the 23rd round, which was funny. there's always a funny story to everything, right? So
Yeah.
so that's pretty much like that's almost the whole story of baseball. You know, some not so much. Just a lot of stories in between that, but that's kind of where the baseball came from. You know what I mean? I put it down for a little while, and it was like you finding yourself, and you know, you with friends and family. We all thought we was like basketball, like stars.
Yeah.
We all thought we was, you know, some of us was, some of us wasn't. You know, so I was one of the wasn't. So,
But see, yeah, I'm glad you brought that.
but I thought it was decent. You know, so we played, and then you know, I was those Hillside teams, you know, we got a chance to be with Griff. And I do remember Griff, rest his soul. He was another great mentor, Mr. Platt. You know, Mr. Platt used to always have the jokes, though. He's like, oh, he's so good. You know, he always had the joke. But he was, you know, he was fundamental in helping me. You always had these people like driving you. He was one of those people that always, since I had Mr. Platt like a teacher like 47 times, I think.
Yeah, right.
So it was like, so I had him like fourth grade. So he chased me all the way to high school. But I remember Griff one time, it was probably like Mr. Platter Hoppy or somebody else, and he came to me after one practice. He was like, they told me you're a real good baseball player, though. I hadn't played baseball in a while. He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm a good player. He's like, no, I heard like real good. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess, you know what I mean? But, you know, getting away, and then once you get into, like, you know, minor league ball and things like that, you start to kind of get an idea of where your talent is and where you are in comparison to other people. So, like I said, it's an experience I would never get back for nothing. You know what I mean? And it was a lot of people that helped you get there on that road, which ended up being a really cool journey that you still get a lot of. And everything, you know, it's always a lot of like good stories to help propel you to do other things or things that you could carry over. And I think that things happen like they're supposed to happen. So, you know, a lot of the things that I learned there, I use now, you know, coaching athletes and doing a bunch of different things.
Now, Mike, I'm going to tell you two things real quickly.
Uh-oh.
Two things.
Uh-oh.
You know, you family. You know, I love you.
Hit me.
I was there that day. I remember I went out with my boy, Will Landers.
Oh, well. Wow.
Yeah. I was out with him. We went to the movies that day. And you know, we was basketball junkies.
Uh-huh.
At Central. You had the white car, nothing but Prince being played.
The white laser. The white Chrysler laser.
I'm about to tell you some real shit now.
Tell me some real shit.
Yeah, so we going and we come back from the movies. His pops drops us off at the park, Central. You was there, Kurt, and a gang of others, Snap, Mazik, all of them. This 90s. Guess who's in the park that day?
Who was in the park that day?
Chris Tucker.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Bellamy. And they kept calling you John Sparks.
Yeah, they was killing me. But I was scoring on their ass. Somebody got to get up on John Sparks, man. Oh, yeah, Chris Tucker was killing me. Alonzo Hamburger Jones, too.
Yeah, Hamburger Jones. Exactly, yeah.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
I had to put that out there because, like, it comes all full circle. Chris Tucker, superstar. Hamburger Jones, superstar. Bill Bellamy, superstar. And they was all getting on you. And you was busting their ass.
I was killing them in the park that day. They was mad at me, too. They was funny, though. I love them cats. They was killing me. They're like, somebody need to double up on John Sparks.
Yeah.
I was killing them.
I'll never forget that day because I thought I was going to miss something. Because, like I said, it was something where it was like, I need to be at Central. You and Kurt down there, like, I'm taking a day off. You know what I'm saying? Chilling with my boys. Or my boy. And once I heard that and I came into the park and I seen that, I was like, this guy.
Oh, yeah. They love me, though, after that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They was killing me. But, yeah, that's what. So, Central, we used to live in Central, though.
Yes.
So, it was funny, yeah. So, it's like with basketball, that was what it was. The funny thing is, like, Isaac and them used to get mad at me. So Isaac, Kurt, and all of them used to be like, man, you ain't playing the same way that you playing in the park when we be at the high school or whatever it is. But it's a funny thing. I could never, like, this is like just random.
Yeah.
So it's a funny thing is I could never really see like outside, I was fine, but I didn't know I had like eye problems going to high school. I had going through the whole like high school. So yeah, I didn't find that out until I actually got to college. And then I started wearing contacts, you know, because it was like the eye check, you do whatever. But this is a story that I won't never tell, really. At the draft combine, I actually failed the eye test. So yeah, I failed the eye test. The dude was like, "Go home," because I was like, I ran, and the first one they scored me well, but I had two things. I couldn't really see that well, and I'm colorblind. So oh yeah, so they couldn't. So they make you take this one test, and they go through slide by slide, and you got to pick out the numbers and its colors or whatever.
Right.
So, and I couldn't pick out none of them. I got like maybe one. He's like, "You can't see none of this stuff." I'm like, "Nah, I can't see." He's like, "This gonna be your last test for today, because you ain't gonna get drafted. You keep going through these tests, and then you go do something else." He's like, "You get ready to mess this all up. You go home." So I left. But I remember the shading. Like if you go in the Hillside, like the lighting was way different than a lot of different gyms. Like it was much dimmer, even like than Irvington. So I couldn't really see a whole lot of this. So they used to get mad at me, Kurt and everybody, because he passed me balls, I missed them. He was like, "Oh man, what the hell going on with you in here?" But we out Central, I used to be great. I would, you know, so we used to do a lot of stuff, but it was fun, you know. So at the end of the day, I still wasn't on them levels of them some of them other legends that you had on here. But yeah, I was killing them that day. They was calling me John Sparks. They was killing me.
Yeah.
they was mad at me though. I was killing them.
Yeah. Mike, man, I had to change the lane though too, man. I just want you to know that when I do this and I show love and everything like this, I started this with the pandemic, and it was just on some. I gotta holler at everybody that I know, and who better to holler at than all of my brother's friends, because all of them was great. All of you guys were great, and all of you guys were brothers to me, and I definitely appreciate, you know, all you guys coming on, man. I mean, like, definitely from the bottom of my heart, man. I ain't looking for nothing like that. I just want to do this to keep people entertained and show people that I know people, and as well as, you know what I'm saying?
You know people. No, man, listen, it's an honor to be on here, you know what I mean? And now hopefully you get a lot of people. I watch some of the people, and it's some good stories, great stories coming out of where we was, man. I always really, and it's just true, just coming up like with the people we came up with. You know, it was competitive, and you know, competitive in a good way, in a love way, but all these people, you see them on Facebook, whether it be, you know, Donald, yourself, your brother, you know, Cheyenne. I could keep naming names, Scott, Barry, you know, all these people that I came up with, Mac and all of them. We get on there and we talk crazy. Marquise Braxton, who was great basketball player in himself, you know, that we grew up all together. Lamont, obviously, Kendall, all of them that you have on here, and all the, you know, the legends and OGs that we had that came up, and, you know, things like that. But there's always love. So I always had, I'm super honored, and I thank them too, because when I went from here to like Timbuktu to play baseball and everything, you always had that chip on your shoulder, because people didn't think that, you know, we play real ball where we from. You know what I mean? Now it's great to see so many kids from Hillside and everywhere going on to do great things, even greater than all the stuff that we was able to do. But that's why, you know, I think that this is great that you're doing it. But I always try to support, even if it's, you know, going to a show that somebody might be doing, or, you know, you talk about comedy, all those great, you know, when you think about the people that we got that's right now just killing it in the game, you know, and you try to, if I'm ever like close, I try to go out to these shows, just like when you said, like, you know, when I was in Newark, a lot of people, I didn't get a chance to see every single person that walked up in that stadium and did everything that, you know, or cheered for you, and you might not have been able to go up and shake their hand or do whatever, but that you feel that energy, you feel that love. I always had that real. Even now, you go out, people don't think they didn't think that we played real ball when you went to Hickory, North Carolina, or when you went to, you know, Pensacola, Florida, and things like that. So I always had that, you know, on my back. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you having me on here, and, you know, just showing me love. And this is great what you're doing, man. Hopefully you get a lot more people jump on here and tell their stories, but. And talk some shit.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, Mike. That's what it's all about. I want to hear your version of your story. You know, and that's what I'm doing, man. And I mean, I wouldn't ask you to be on if you wasn't doing something. You know what I'm saying? So,
You
but
see, you
honestly,
see
before we,
Donald jumping here, he throw Nashua up there.
I see him up there. I see him.
Nashua, New Hampshire. Yep. He was. Hey, listen, I can't. He went on the ride with me. He drove to all them places. He drove to Pensacola. A lot of. That's what That's really what it's about. So I hope that a lot more people get on here with you, man, and just tell a story because it's some cool, really cool stories. Even if you get some of the OGs or teachers and things like that on here too.
Yeah. I got Mr. Platt coming up.
Uh-oh.
Glad you said that because I got Mr. Platt coming up.
Tell him don't show that picture of me keeping me out of school on the last day. He loves to talk about that. But yeah, no, he's one of my all-time favorites, man. He did a lot for me, so I appreciate him.
Yeah, definitely. He was definitely. I think before I don't want to compare the two or anything like that, but he and Coach Sellers were like two instrumental type of guys in the guys' lives, man.
Yeah, Coach Sellers. He had a lot of great conversations with Coach Sellers. He'll roast me out too. He get on me a lot, which is good. But that's all. Like I said, that was that love. Everybody, because people don't. It was never done to like hurt you. It was done to get you to focus and move in the right direction. Right. And if you took it, and everything is always taking it, and how do you use that synergy to drive you forward? And that was really what we tried to do. And I always remember that. Your brother, I always love that cat. We always had some laughs, no matter where we was
definitely. Definitely.
So,
I remember I got stories for days on that, man.
Oh, y'all could be here for 3 hours with me and him talking crazy. Then we bring some other people and bring them in here talk crazy stories. But I'm just shocked that you even brought up the Chris Tucker story. People don't remember that. That's like like people think you're lying if you tell them that story.
Yeah, exactly.
They wasn't superstars at the time either. Yeah, that was like that was during the Def Comedy Jam time.
Right, yeah.
That was way back then when he was just coming out. But they sure enough was calling me John Sparks. They was killing me. They was mad at me though. They was mad at me though. I was having a good day on their ass.
The funny part about that, I forgot what movie me and Will went to see. And then like we just came straight to Central and I just see all these dudes standing out there, and then I see you on the court and Kurt and all the rest of them dudes in Central. I'm like, who the fuck is John Sparks? I thought they were John Starks. They was
Yeah, they was killing me that day. Hopefully that don't stick now that I'm older now. You never know. But back then, that was funny. Kurt used to give me the business. So that was funny as hell. Yeah, Chris Tucker. What he say? Yeah. Chris Tucker, Bill Bellamy, all of them was out there. Yeah, we was killing them. Yeah,
I think Kenny was out there. I think Kenny was out there that day, I believe. I don't forget nothing.
You brought up that story. Most of the time I tell people that story, they don't even remember it. That's the funniest.
I remember it because you was balling out there that day.
Oh yeah, I was on that day. Kurt was setting me up too. He was like, "Oh, you get this fast break dunk on him." Yeah, he was like, "Somebody got to get on John Sparks, man. He killing us."
Yeah, but Mike, man, that's my time right now. I want to get this up. I'm gonna send it directly to you and everything like that.
All good, baby.
And I'm giving you your flowers. I want baseball. I want to call you Mr. Baseball.
No, please don't. I ain't that.
Not too many of us from Hillside playing with Ricky Henderson, and if you know baseball or you know Ricky Henderson, you are a legend with that.
I don't know about that. And we all trying to make it do it, but it was a good time, man. And Rick was good. Rick had he was influential, and once again one of them OGs, man, we think about. And this, every so often that energy touch you, right? So we talk about Chris Tucker and all these people and all this stuff, and that was really cool times. The journey none of us wouldn't throw away, but. Yeah. I'm still like, that's the funniest thing I got all night that you brought that up. That's crazy as hell.
Mike, you my brother, man. You was with what 93 to 95? Like, come on.
Yep.
You didn't even have my father's cooking.
That was my man's though.
Yeah.
Your father used to be always. He used to give me the business too, but he that was my man. He funny. He had me cracking up. Those those was the times, man. I wouldn't give them up for the world, man. I think of a lot of things you could do differently, but none of it wouldn't be none of y'all. I appreciate everything and all them experiences, and you being a part of that. Even showing back up after the movie theater to see that. So now I got a witness. But yeah, that was one of my good. That's just the title of this whole thing. Chris Tucker came down to Central, and he'll remember. I'm gonna walk. One day I'll find him and be like, "Remember John Sparks?"
That's me.
That's me. Nah, he'll know. Believe me, he was that. Yeah. He just came out of nowhere. But they killed me that day. They was roasting me.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, yo, Mike, man. Yo, it was great talking to you. Great seeing you, man. I'm glad everybody got to see your story. And whoever didn't see it tonight, it'll be on my Facebook page. It's gonna be on your page, and I'm gonna send it directly to you. This whole footage, the whole interview.
Appreciate you, brother. Get some other folks on here and tell their stories, man. Get some more, get Darryl Purnell, find him and all them other folks and get them on here. Donald Sellers too, since he on here texting everything. Get him on here.
Yeah, I see him talking junk, man. I see him.
Yeah, he on
tonight.
He on here real slick. He on here dropping low. He dropping notes. Yeah, so get him in there. You got a bunch of people you still need to get in here, so it's all good. And hopefully they get on here, tell the story. But thank you to all y'all, man. This is good. And keep doing it. Keep doing it, brother. We need that energy.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yo,
all
Mike,
right, bro.
Thanks, brother.
Be safe. Wear your mask. Live the life. Do what you got to do. Take your temperature. Do whatever you got to do. Live the life.
Definitely.
All right, bro.